What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And yes, we're in a different location. The snow has fallen near Edinburgh, so I decided to bring my camera, phone versus video outside. Today I've got my special videographers, my goddaughter and my son, so if the camera angles are awful, then you can blame them. So today we're talking about the Vivo X100 Pro, and we are comparing it to the Samsung S23 Ultra. I recently done a top 5 candy bar phones of 2023, and the Vivo X90 Pro held up well, but if I had the Vivo X100 Pro, it'd be a different kettle of fish. I did review the phone and give a points system ranking to the X100 Pro, and it scored 16 points, and the Samsung scored 17 points. So very close, but what I wanted to do today is dig deeper into the battle. Display, speakers, screen, cameras, night mode, video, everything you can imagine is going to be in this versus video. So without further ado, let's go. So for this portion, I have my glamorous assistant, Theo. Theo has got the Vivo in his right and the Samsung in his left. Let's talk displays. Both phones are a large OLED 6.78 inch for the Vivo and 6.8 inch for the Samsung S23 Ultra. Both run at 120 Hz. When it comes to nits and brightness, the Samsung will go up to 1750 nits. However, the Vivo will go up to 3000 nits. Now, when we're talking about nits and brightness, in everyday practical life, modern phones nowadays are absolutely legible in direct sunlight. However, when we talk about peak nittage, that's normally reserved for HDR content. So when you're watching Netflix or Amazon in HDR, that's where you're going to get the advantage of peak nits. To be honest, anything above 1500 is more than enough. Both screens score high. I do have to give the Samsung the slight edge, and I do believe that the images look sharper. Even though the resolution is basically the exact same, I do prefer the look of the display on the Samsung. And while we're talking about how the phones look, the screens look and sound, speakers. Speakers from both phones are fantastic, but again, I'll let you be the judge. I give Samsung the nod over this.
Empty hearts and neon lights, they're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell empty hearts and neon lights, they're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone. Tell myself it's fine to be alone. Just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver, no more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver, no more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now.
Now, I want to talk internals now. First, let's talk about the Vivo. Well done, Theo. So, the Vivo X100 Pro is running a chip I have never used, the Dimensity 9300. Again, never used it, have no experience, didn't know what to expect, and pleasantly surprised. Compared to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy found in the Samsung has the better efficiency. I've said it for a long time now, since the 8 Gen 1 came out, potentially even the Treble 8. I do think Qualcomm are on a par with Apple when it comes to their SoC. However, I am glad there are options, and with Dimensity coming into the picture, it keeps the price down, and we'll talk about price later on between these phones. But the Samsung, as mentioned, it's running at an 8 Plus Gen 2 essentially. That's what the 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy is. It's an overclock chip, and power, speed, efficiency all comes together to make this a 2-day phone for battery life. It's a 5000 milliamp hour battery, only 45 watts charging on the Samsung, and 15 watts wireless. I really hope they improve that, but when you do have the phone fully charged, you can be confident of a day to a day and a half of really heavy usage, and 2 days quite comfortably from moderate use. Now, when it comes to the Vivo, it's a 5400 milliamp hour battery. So almost a 10% increase over the Samsung, which is just wild. It's got the Dimensity chip, still very efficient, but in my experience, I have found that the extra 400 milliamp hours in a Vivo actually just makes it in line. So I'm assuming the engineers at Vivo, that's why they've done it, because they're super smart, smarter than me, and they've made it bigger milliamp hours to make efficiency on a par with the Samsung, and that's what you get. Everything I just said for the Samsung as far as battery life, 2 days of moderate, a day to day and a half of heavy usage, rings true for the Vivo X100 Pro. Charging speeds is where things completely change. The Vivo will charge wired at 100 watts, more than twice what the Samsung will do. The Vivo will charge wirelessly with the Vivo proprietary charger at 50 watts, over three times what the Samsung will do. Reverse wireless charging on both, but I guess if we're scoring this round, I do have to give the battery round to the Vivo, purely because efficiency seems the same, you're getting the same time out of it, but you can charge the Vivo from dead to 100% in less than half an hour, whereas in the Samsung, you're roughly about an hour and 20 minutes. Now, as far as cameras, I done the review on the Vivo X100 Pro, and photography-wise, the Vivo more than kept up with it. However, video-wise, front-facing selfie, while the Vivo doesn't look too bad for 1080p, I think we can see here the difference between the Samsung and the Vivo. Samsung is obviously 4K 60 frames per second it can go up to, and the Vivo is capped off at 1080p. Now, here's a sample of daytime and nighttime rear camera footage from both phones. Let me know in the comments what you think.
My headspace been weaker, it's been waiting for the right day. Like the right day ever comes, now it's Friday and nothing's changed. Mistakes that everyone is making, but I can't change. I'm stuck in reverse like an old Benz, forgot to tap it up. Now I long for another day where things fall into place. So if you're down, I'll be down. Pack your bags, fill them up. We can go tonight, take a flight to a higher ground. How does that sound? How does that sound? So strange, why it always feel like it's too late. Wait another year.
So, as far as how to get these phones, where to get these phones, things differ again. This is a comparison video between the hardware and the software, but I can't control how these phones are released. Unfortunately, in the Western market, we are kind of screwed over. We don't get the Vivo globally, we don't get the Oppos and the Xiaomis and all the best hardware globally, purely because of sales. And I've talked about that in an Honor video I done recently. You can link that, I'll link that in the description, you can click on that after this video. But if you're willing to import a phone from China, you can use WONDA Mobile, Gizstop, many others. I personally use WONDA, again, link in description. You can import the Vivo from WONDA for about £500 cheaper than you can get the Samsung. The Samsung's going to cost you about £1,200 for the 0.5 terabyte version because it's on a deal. The Vivo for a 0.5 terabyte is going to be less than £800. And again, if you use WONDA and pay by bank transfer, it's 3.8% off that price as well. The Samsung is obviously a global release. It's got more support when it comes to software and warranty and all those perks. With the Samsung, you're getting 4 years of software updates, that's Android OS updates, so it's going to do you till Android 17. With the Vivo, it really is just how generous and how lucky Vivo are feeling just now. I think you'll only get 2 years, and as far as warranty, because you're not buying directly from Vivo, because you've imported the phone, you're only going to have the 12-month warranty offered by WONDA to fall back on if anything were to go wrong. So that is something I'm going to talk about more in each video, just to make sure that you, as a consumer, as a buyer, are fully up to speed. I have personally had no issues with any device, but that could just be luck. If anything were to happen to your device, if you cracked your screen, you can still send it to Vivo, but there's going to be a large cost. Whereas with Samsung, if you've got Samsung Care, then screen replacements are free. And if you've not got Samsung Care, I think they're about £129 or something. So yeah, much more efficient if anything were to happen with your device. Now, software-wise, again, completely different. Recently, I scored the Samsung software 5 out of 5. I think One UI is probably the best Android skin, especially on a foldable device. I think most phones are catching up, other than the OnePlus, which I do put on a par, in some areas even better. When it comes to the Vivo, it's running Origin OS, and it's fine, but multitasking, animations, customization, because Samsung have the Good Lock app, which is free from the App Store, the level of customization you can do on these devices is just unparalleled. So I have to give software with the One UI to the Samsung. And I guess just overall, if you're on a budget, you cannot go wrong with the Vivo X100 Pro, as long as you factor in the whole warranty potential issues. If you've got the cash, I wouldn't buy the S23 Ultra. Spoiler, shock, twist at the end. We are only 1 month away from the Samsung S24 Ultra. So I would hold on to your money, have a nice Christmas and New Year, then put your hand in your pocket and buy the S24 Ultra. It's going to have basically all the same specs, but newer. And it's going to be a fantastic device. So, in the battle of these phones, I have to give the Samsung the win, but that's not to put the Vivo to shame. Only 1 point behind the Samsung. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, share, do all that stuff. I'll try and get more outside content, providing this video's looked and sounded okay. Thank you to Alice, thank you to Theo, and until next time,